Hi everyone, I'm Brian. This is my garage. Welcome back. Now it's the Christmas week. I've just got a little bit of time available to get in here and play with the bike. Couple of things I'd like to take a look at. Can I understand why it sounds a bit rattly to my ear at least? Also, front brake. Now the engine runs, I might need to start thinking about actually stopping the bike. And let's just see what I can do in the time available. So without that, Christmas edition. I should have put my hat on, but bear with me. Let's see what we can do together. So in running my engine a few days ago, it sounded a little bit rattly to me. I thought it might have been valves, even though I'd adjusted those. So a couple of things that's been pointed out to me. One, I don't have the breather hose on, so that might just be making it sound a bit louder, possibly. So I'm going to look around my box a bit, see if I can find that. Another strong suggestion was, I understand there's a balance weight which is driven off of an adjustment, a chain that's adjusted under this cover. I've not looked at that at any point, so let's check that. I'll get the book out, take the cover out, see what I can find. Maybe it's just adjustment. Well, looking in my box of bits and spares, I have found what I think is probably the right breather pipe. So it looks about right to my eye. Let's have a look. So okay, so that looks like it has been on there in the past, but it's also rather frayed and cut. So I think I'm going to cut the end off this, probably warm it up, put it in some hot water, and then see if we can get that on there. So let's see if we can recover that, make it usable again. Okay, soak that in some hot water for a few minutes. Let's see if I can get that to go over there. This looks like it might be a challenge. Jesus. Feels quite flexible. That feels like it needs to stretch out a long way to go over there. Almost inside it. Go for a big bolt, methinks. Whilst that is warming up and trying to stretch, in here, trying to see my balance chain adjustment, and I can see a bolt and I can see an adjustment, and at the moment this bolt is all the way at the top of that shaft. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but it tells me that what I do is I slacken that bolt off, and then if it moves, that means it's tightened, and if it doesn't move, it means I've got to take this cover off and perform a manual adjustment. So okay, let's see what happens when I try moving it, and I'm not going to be able to hold the camera there whilst I do it. It's too tight. Well, that did move, which is interesting. It might be towards the end of its automatic adjustment, but let's see if that's made a difference. Well, I've just started it from cold, and it started easily, and it sounds much better. I think I can hear a blow on the exhaust, but nothing like as bad as it was before. So yeah, I think that was an easy fix. So turning my attention to the brakes, I've got a caliper, I've got a disc, I've got what looks like a cable, and I've got a lever. So I think I've got all the major components for the front brake. The first thing I've noticed is that these threads on the caliper seem to be 10mm fine, and I don't have the bolts, or at least I haven't found them yet. So I'm going to now start searching my other stash of stuff, see if I can find them. Okay, well, I've been through all my stash, and I don't have the bolts to go in there. So I've just measured them up. They look to be 10mm. They're about 30mm long, but they're a fine pitch. They're a 0.25 pitch. So I'm going to have to get some of those ordered, because I don't have them. That is clearly filthy anyway, so I'm also out of degreaser. So I'm going to get some degreaser. I'm going to start cleaning that up. Ordered up some bolts, and then we'll see what condition that's in once it cleans up. In the meantime, I've just quickly thrown the front sprocket on, so that's on and attached. So I think I can get the cover back on here now, so that when I'm running it I don't risk getting caught up in the spinning stator or spinning flywheel, because as someone pointed out, my cords on my coat were getting close to this. So let's get the cover back on that. There's no need to be in there any longer. Okay, well, continuing with the trial build, we've now got the side cover back on. That all looks okay. I've got one side panel, so I've got the left hand side, but I need the right hand side battery cover. That's missing. I've put the mudguard I've got with it on the bike. I didn't think it fitted. Well, it does fit, and it's black and it's in keeping with the style. I don't think that can be original though, because everyone talks about chrome mudguards and that's very plastic. So it has presumably been replaced at some point, although the style seems to fit. And this is called a 250N Superdream Deluxe. So was that the right mudguard? Don't know. Anyway, I'm building a list of bits I'm missing, need, various bolts and clasps and things. My seat, I'm really not sure what I'm going to do about that. It's quite rusted out. I really should find a replacement. Also grab rails. I understand there's grab rails that go on the back here. I don't have those. So most things I can buy, but the side panel, the seat, the grab rails, not sure. I think none of that's available new. I believe I just need to scrape and scrounge second-hand sites, other members, subscribers possibly. So let me carry on. Let's see what more I've got that I can put on it today. I found the chain guard. That looks intact and usable. So I think that bolts on there and there. But it looks like I've got to take the wheel out to get it in. So let's see, offer that up. Okay, one chain guard in place, looking wonderful. Now let's look at this back wheel. I think I've got about a sprocket. So let's see if I can change that. There we are. There's the back end, mud guard or chain guard in place. All looking nice. All good. Cleaned up rear sprocket. So yeah, I think the back end's looking pretty reasonable now, and let's just keep moving forward. But a few more things. Right, it's 2 days later. I'm back in the garage and I've bought myself a little present. So I've just had a delivery. David Silver, and anyone who knows roughly what this is. So I've bought myself a few essentials. So I've bought myself a pair of grips, hand grips, because I don't have any on the bike. I bought myself some brake fluid because I'm trying to reassemble the brake, but I couldn't put it back on because I was missing a pair of bolts, and I've ordered a pair of bolts. Now these were not listed as being the right bolts for the CB250, but I think they are. So that will be an interesting test in a minute. Little fuel filter, so when I put the fuel tank on, I'm going to make sure I don't fill my carburetor with loads of bits. And to complete the airbox that I put on the other week, a new air filter. So all that said, let me see if I can start putting stuff on the bike. Well, I'm very pleased to say I was correct. Those bolts fit perfectly, holding my caliper onto my CB250, which I was pleased about. But you see, the part in question is listed here. It's described as a brake caliper retaining bolt, but it's listed as being for the Honda CX500. So my research was correct. That bolt does fit the brake caliper on a CB250N. I'm pleased with that, and there's the part number clearly if anyone else needs to do that. So good, little bit of success. The brake still needs cleaning up and commissioning, but at least bolted to the bike now. Yeah, new set of grips. No longer just holding on to insulation tape and bare metal. They're period correct, if not OEM, but good. I think they look and feel the part. Okay. Now fit the new filter, which I know needs to be soaked in gear oil, but for the purposes of just assembly this time round, you can just go in dry. I'll certainly soak it before I run the bike. So let's work out how this actually secures in. Might need 2 hands for this. Give it a go. There we go. Zoom. I've just put the foam underneath and then that mesh just to hold it in place. And we'll put the cover back on. And then I immediately look at the book and realised I've got them the wrong way round. The foam goes on top. So mesh goes in first, foam sits on top second. Okay. Right, let's put the cover back on. Right, back to brakes. So this is the very dirty old caliper. Let's get the pads out, let's start stripping it down, let's see how it cleans up. Let's give it a go. So trying to strip down this caliper, most of it seems okay. Pads are obviously shot, that seems pretty gone, but in fact the piston seems pretty savable, or at least I think so, but these pins that are meant to just slide out, they've broken, they're seized. I'm really struggling with them. There's almost no access to get hold of that to pull it, so I'm going to continue trying to twist and encourage and tap and do anything else I can to get them out of there. If I can get them out, I think I'm going to pop the piston and look at a rebuild. If I can't, I might need to look at a replacement brake, but let's get these out somehow, one way or another. Well, it's another day and I'm going to admit defeat on the brake caliper. This is just junk, it's shot. I tried to get these pins out, which should just pull out. Absolutely seized solid, everything I tried failed. Eventually resorted to drilling, and then the drilling I messed up and I've gone off centre and it's come out lower than where the pin should be. So yeah, I messed that up. Okay, admit defeat. I'm going to have to source at least this part of the brakes, if not a replacement caliper. So that's going to go on the shopping list. So I can't do any more on the brakes now. I've turned my attention back to other things on the bike. I've got the tank, so I've just put it here briefly. It needs complete repaint. It needs to be taken back and preparing and getting ready. So I think I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to try and measure exactly where the decals are. I've seen other people put decals back on the bike and then people suggest they're in the wrong location. So I'm going to measure from like a fixed point to a corner, probably there and here somewhere, so that after this is painted and decals sourced, they can go back on. The side panel is going to need the similar treatment. You can see where it's wearing out on the top, so that's going to need painting at the same time. And I don't have the right hand side panel, so that's something I need to source. So I think I'm going to start measuring up, cleaning up. I don't have any paint stripper with me now, so I need to go and get paint stripper, but everywhere's shut for Christmas. So hopefully I can get some paint stripper in the next 24 hours and then get this back to bare metal and start the cleanup. Another issue, just thought I'd check that the reservoir and the caliper's okay. That screw's come out, that one is not budging, so I'm now working on trying to remove that so I can check the condition inside here. Well, I've managed to strip this down, put it back together and find a replacement screw that actually fits the now drilled out hole at the bottom. So not perfect, not ideal. Ideally I'd like those to at least match if they're not original, but that is, I think, serviceable, so that bit at least is okay. Well, that's me very much out of time for this week. This will be the last video of the year, so I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for all your help, comment and subscriptions. It's been greatly appreciated. I would not have got anywhere near this far without your support. So that's me signing off now. Bit of a disjointed week, but hopefully we'll make progress in the new year. So thanks very much and goodbye for now.